Hi guys, welcome back. It's I don't know how much later, probably more later than you think. It's getting pretty dark out here, but the camera seems to be picking up the light. You know, down here we work till dark. I don't get started. I don't think I got out of the house till noon. No, 1 o'clock. I remember I got a phone call. Anyhow, but I put along at my own rate of speed. I'm not in any hurry. I put some of those shorter ones that were cut from my daughter's neighbor's house there, and then down here are some longer ones because I stack the wood in these boxes. I'm putting the longer ones here because they can hang out more, and the shorter ones in the back, and then I stack in between, which, I don't know, these things hold, I think they hold about a half a cord of wood because I stack them up. I moved this crate out here, moved it way over there, almost 20 feet probably. I'll stack it over there in a row of stuff over there, and who knows what I'm gonna do with it or when I'm gonna do what with it. But I figure you guys get a better view here. Another thing that I was thinking about on the wood splitter nonsense. I think if they do it, they should do it. Okay, you have your log there. You got to cut your log up. You got to get it to the splitter. You got to split it, and you have to have it stacked and ready to go for the way you use it. In other words, some people are making, you know, matches and toothpicks because they want to sell at the box wedge. Let me get over there and kind of eyeball you a little bit better. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, but there's a lot of different ways people are using their wood. So, you know, and there's a lot of different ways people are trying to get their wood yard set up. Okay, so all these people that are making matchsticks and toothpicks, you know, I'm not into that. Nice big pieces for the boiler. I have plenty of room here, so I can stack it here and there and everywhere. I don't know what I got stacked right now, but I think you know, if you really think about it, the people need to see the whole routine of how you do wood. I mean, when you get to one of these splitter wars, you know, they've cherry picked their wood out, I'm guessing. Okay, so it's all cracks and stays in the high speed of the fast splitters, which is generally what I think I saw. I'd have to really analyze it. I didn't analyze it. I was just kind of looking like, holy crap, man, that's a lot of wood going through. Joe Average starting out, okay, he sees that and he thinks, well, I got to go get the biggest splitter in the world. But if you don't have the support equipment to move it into the splitter or cut it, move it to your splitter, get it up on the splitter, and then away from the splitter to a stored area, you're just, it's whoever has the biggest, most expensive wood splitter. I think maybe in the wood splitter war thing that they're doing, you know, I get the logs, most of my logs out of the woods here, okay? That takes an awful lot of time. But these guys that are buying the wood, they don't have that kind of time to do it. They probably don't have the wood resource, so they're buying the wood. And I think that's cost them $100 plus a cord. So right off the bat, that puts a wood. I used to sell wood for $100 a cord. They're buying it in stick form, so you got to keep that in mind. So maybe you just start out there, because everybody's going to have their own way of getting wood. Start out with maybe a couple logs sitting down there, and then they get them over to the splitter. And maybe you need a log lift, maybe you don't need a log lift. A lot of people, if they're playing that game, they're probably going to cut it and stack it right next to the log splitter, and who knows. But show different ways of doing the wood so people can get different ideas in the speed it takes and getting the wood to the splitter, through the splitter, and away from the splitter. Now, mind you, I got probably $150,000 worth of equipment here. Okay, so I'm not beginner at it, but there's a lot of beginners out there. And I was a beginner at one time. I didn't know what a cord of wood come hell or high water was. And you know, you learn. There was no internet back then, and that's how this wood splitter came about. You know, I like wood and that kind of stuff and burning wood, and it saved money when the gas crisis went from like 39 cents a gallon up to 79 cents a gallon. That was a big deal back then, and I think that was in 72, I think, is about the time that happened. But And I was working on the wood splitter before that anyway. That didn't have anything to do with it. But anyhow, a lot of these guys, most of the guys that are going to have the, you know, big mega buck splitters probably have loaders and forks and all that kind of stuff to move stuff around. But how efficient are they in the wood yard? So maybe they got to start thinking efficiency in the wood yard. It doesn't do you any good if you have a fast splitter and you blow it in some other places. So that's just kind of something in there. I'm going to split till it gets dark because we work till dark and play around. Just some other things that I wanted to put in there. Oh, I didn't buy $100,000 worth of toys just to split wood. We used to farm, all this used to be under cultivation where you're sitting right now. There used to be rows and rows and rows of tomatoes and beans and squash and Swiss chard, you name it, we had it down here. Peppers, oh my God, we had everything. I like the number 200 to 250, so a couple hundred pepper plants, a couple hundred tomato plants, a couple hundred squash and zucchini plants, a couple hundred Swiss chard plants, and long rows are easy to plant in. And we sold to, that was my side hustle, we sold to farmers markets and stuff like that, and irrigate back there. And so the stuff like the tractor, that's left over from those days. But the tractors nowadays are a lot better because they can pick up, that thing can only pick up about 800 pounds. And I was moving firewood one time and that whole thing started to go over. And you know, I didn't have hardly anything on there. You know, you hit the bucket forward, you keep it low to the ground, and nothing happened other than, you know, I needed to clean myself up afterwards. But that's when I realized I needed something big and strong. I didn't go out and buy a new, that tractor I bought new. Okay, the Bobcat I bought used. And you know, you do shopping, do research, find out what you wanted. I wanted something that wasn't going to tear up the ground. But I also got that 544 John Deere loader back there. I'm sure you guys have seen that in the past. If you're new here, maybe you haven't seen it. And that's just for, can you see it over there? And that runs, it'll start right up. And then there's also the track machine over here. That's how I used to move logs around, is with that track machine right there. Before I had, well, this thing wouldn't pick it up, but and that's also got a backhoe attachment that goes on it, and that would probably start right up right now too. I keep them running. I don't keep them maintained very good, but I keep them running. That both of them will start right up. So you got you know, some old machines, but is all you're doing is you're buying machines to compensate for what you can't do. I mean, I couldn't plow this field. We were planted from here all the way up to the street, and you guys have seen the front yard and all that stuff. There were some areas that we didn't do, and I had it all under irrigation too. So I'm gonna sit here. I guess I've rambled on enough. I'm just gonna sit here, and I think I'll bring it back a little bit further. You might get a whole scope a little bit better. I forgot my mittens again, but that doesn't matter. Poor little kitten forgot his mittens. Let's see. Still warm. Oh, gotta turn it up a little bit. guess I put you guys through enough wood splitting. It's probably getting too dark for the camera. So we'll call this quits, but I'm gonna probably, I only have 4 more little pieces to split up. A couple things that are nice about this thing is a lot of the trash dumps down into this space that's in between. That just happened to happen. And a lot of this is just something that came about. So that, and what else? Somebody's asking me, why don't I split it in from this side first and leave the heavy piece over there? Because then I have to do something with this piece right at that time, which I could, I guess, set that over there. But then I take my hands off the big piece. It just works better for me in the order in which I'm doing things. What else? I got to get into that short stumpy one over there, because you can see I start to add up down in there. I don't know what the size of this container is. They hold about a half a cord, because it's a pallet that I think is 40. Where's the tape measure? I don't even see. Oh, I think it's 48 inches wide. The new boxes that I'm making are 60 inches wide, 5 foot wide, and they're a little bit better. The machinery I got can pick that kind of stuff up, so it really doesn't make much difference. I'll put it on there. We are going. Yeah, it's a 4 foot one. You can see it's over 4 foot, but it's probably starting to spread out. That's why this chain gets put in here, so it doesn't get out. And I've switched that. This probably won't hook up now. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Nah, it'll go on there. You can see, but I got to put it on now before it spreads anymore. I don't know if I can push this in and do this with one hand. Probably not. No point in even trying, but I'll have to hook that up. And it really doesn't get in the way, and it kind of holds the wood stable when I'm moving it around, so that's pretty good. So it's 4 foot that way. These are 18-inch pieces here, or should be. I don't know what they're cut at. 17 to 18 is what I prefer. That's 17, so that's right on what I basically measured. They're all 17s. This thing in the back, it's running 40 inches, but as you can see, I guess you can't see, maybe you can see, I make them hang over, you know, so it's probably going about 44 inches, but then, let's see what the height on it is. We're at 44 inches high, so this is a weak half cord. So that's what we're sitting at. That's why I started making the new boxes. The new boxes are a little bit taller, I think. They're 5 feet wide instead of 4 feet wide. I'd have to, there's none of the new ones down here. That might be one up here. No. That's a pallet box too. And the pallet boxes work good for years, but they're starting to rot away. No, I don't have any in my home. No, that might be a homemade one up there. Can you see? You guys are running out of light too, aren't you? Or this might be a pallet box also. Yeah, that's a pallet box too. That's probably 4 foot. Hook on there, buddy. Yeah, that's 4 foot. That's a pallet box too. The new ones are 60 inches wide, and they work a lot better, and they hold a strong half a cord, and they're a lot easier to put wood in than the totes. Anyhow, we're going to call that a wrap in the dark, and I'm going to finish cutting that up because I got that little light that comes on at the front, and there's actually enough light here for me to work, and I'm just taking it easy, going slow anyway. So I'm glad you stopped by. Hit the bell icon if you want to see what's the next step at the Nuts house. See you guys later. Bye-bye.